What's up everyone, it's Hunter here back with another video. Today we're going to be catching up on Anki cards and having a very productive day. I just finished up the first lecture of the day. It was actually more of a panel with some people in the community that have different disabilities that seek healthcare support and kind of talk us through how they appreciate different things within different offices and what their preferences are. So that was really cool. I'm gonna have breakfast quick and let the dogs out, and then we have another hour where we have small groups with the individual panelists, and we'll go through that. Then we've got 2 more lectures and a really busy day, so I'm just gonna take you through it and show you what a productive day in med school looks like. We are now finished with that little panel discussion. It's 10:07 and I have lab at 1 o'clock. There are 3 more lectures today, so I'll have to leave for school at like 12:30, which means I have 2.5 hours, just shy of 2.5 hours, and those lectures are happening right now. So rather than watching them at real-time speed, I'm just gonna take this 2.5 hours and just grind through Anki cards and see how many I can get done. 1,500 cards typically wouldn't be that big of a deal, but these are all cards that I'm learning. They're not mature cards that I can just flip through. They're things that I have to like actually sit for a minute, think about it, and figure it out. If I get it wrong, I come back to it. So where 1,500 cards would typically take me like 3 hours, this is probably gonna take a little longer. So I'm gonna take the next 2.5 to just grind through and get through as many as I can. I'm hoping that I can get through like half of them and have about 750 left, but we'll see how it goes. And part of that is just that the last 2 weeks of school have been really just like overwhelming. I mean, there was a 2-day stretch where we had 14 lectures in those 2 days, and there was just no way that I was going to get through all of the lectures and keep up with the cards. And slowly they've just piled up, and now I have 6 days till our next exam, and it's always the cards that I don't get to that I end up missing on the exam. So what they don't tell you about med school is half the battle is figuring out what you need to do. And once you figure it out, you don't have any motivation to actually do it. So where I'm very good at coming up with plans, I'm not very good at keeping motivated and following through with those plans. So over the next 6 days, I'm gonna do my absolute best to get through all of this Anki, do my practice questions as I've planned to do, and kill the test on Monday. I just wanted to put it into perspective when I have new cards that I'm just like previewing, kind of seeing, because I didn't make all of the cards. I don't do them the first time seeing them. I just look at them and say good, and then I know that I'll see them again tomorrow, and that's when I'll like actually try to answer them. So when I'm seeing new cards, I just basically read it, flip through it. When I'm seeing old mature cards, I just know the answers right away. So here's my screen. So far in 27 minutes, I've done 269 cards for about 6 seconds a card, which is pretty average for me when I'm doing those types of cards. Now I'm gonna start doing the learning cards that are gonna take quite a bit longer. But I just wanted to touch on, I'm using this 8-bit do or 8-bit do little remote. It's just like a little handheld thing. The reason I like doing Anki on the iPad is because you can very easily program the buttons of this thing. So I just hit A if it's good, X if it's bad, or if I need to see it again. The other 2 I have programmed, but I don't use them very often. And then I have an undo on this trigger if I accidentally answer a card incorrectly and I said good, but I need to see it again, I'll just hit that trigger and then it brings it back. And then I also have the bottom trigger set up for an auto advance feature so that I spend no more than 9 seconds on a card. So if I'm doing new cards especially, I'll click that on and then I'll just hit good, 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 or if it takes me too long to read, it'll just go ahead. But what I like is it helps me focus. So I have 5 seconds to read the card and get the answer out before it'll just show it to me automatically. And then I have 4 seconds to decide on whether or not I knew the card or not. And that's where you just have to be honest with yourself, especially if you have it just auto rolling. It's automatically gonna select good. So if I didn't know it, I need to be quick and say I didn't know it and look at it again. But I'm gonna continue. I mean, that was half an hour, almost 300 cards. So As long as we can keep up this pace, I think we will be able to get through about half of it before we have to go to lab. It's now 11:30 and I've been doing Anki for a little over an hour straight. As you just saw, it's just over 500 cards, which is a solid start. But my brain is starting to fade, having trouble focusing, and I'm finding that I'm just like repeating cards and just like not getting them ingrained in my head. So I'm gonna take a quick mental break and take the dogs for a walk. We'll go about a mile, it'll be about 20 minutes. And then I'll probably have half an hour before I have to leave for lab. So I'll try and get, the current card count is at 1096. So if in that half an hour, I could get down under 1,000 cards to go, that would be solid. We wouldn't be able to get through half of the cards like I wanted to, but I just don't think I'm gonna be super productive unless I take a little break. So we're gonna take a little walking break and go from there. At 1 o'clock, I had OMM lab. That lasted an hour and a half. So then I studied for about an hour and 20 minutes in a room in the library, as you saw. Then we had a suture clinic where we used pig's feet to learn how to do just some basic simple sutures and kind of learn the skills. I'm probably gonna buy a like a suture practice kit now that I know some of the techniques, and just get working on my dexterity and practicing that sort of thing. I'm now headed home. It's 5:51 and I have to get through 2 more lectures, and then we still have just shy of 1,000 Anki cards to try and get through. I have a hockey game at 10:15, so we have about 4 hours to just grind and see how far we get. I have finished my lectures for today. Ideally, I would get through all of my Anki cards, 999 of them, and then I would start reviewing the lectures from last week. I did 3 lectures last night where I just kind of went through the PowerPoints. If I had a resource for doing practice questions for them, I did. And if not, I just kind of move them over in my Notion sheet to the next column. So I say that I'm more comfortable with those lectures. So I turned the wild game on here. I haven't decided whether I'm gonna mute it and do cards or just have it on in the background and do cards. It'll depend on how focused I am. It's currently 7:06, so I think that I'm just going to just do cards for the next two and a half hours before I go to hockey. And then, I mean, hopefully I'll be done, but I'm guessing that in 2.5 hours I will not make it through 1,000 cards. So I'm gonna do my best to get through as many as possible. And usually after these hockey games, my body is just super hot and I can't fall asleep. So I'm probably gonna be up until, I'm gonna guess 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I'm just gonna, I'll update you before the hockey game, after the hockey game, how we're feeling and how far we get tonight. But this is a full productive day, so I'm not going to leave you guys in the dark until I go to sleep. So we've done over 1,000, but we still have quite a few left. The first 100 that I did in this 2-hour span here took me like an hour because it was all over antibiotics. We had one lecture where I made 100 cards for it, and it's just very detail oriented, and it's taking a while to get those details into my brain. So that took a while. It's now time to go to the hockey game that I'm playing in tonight, so I'm gonna go do that, and then we'll see what we can get through tonight once I get back. It is 11:30, just got finished with my hockey game with league. We only had 2 centers tonight, so I was skating a lot. It was 61 minutes of total time. I think we played 3 17.5-minute periods, and in 61 minutes, I burned a little over 1,100 calories. I think heart rate was right around 170 for that hour. So feeling pretty exhausted, but we're gonna go grab a snack at the gas station. And I mean, I don't know if you can tell how red and hot I am, but we are gonna need some time to cool down. So I'll probably study a little bit before I shower. And then we'll see how late I can last into the night. Also, the music has to pause because I'm taking a video, but throwback to middle school with the chitty bang. As you just saw, I was doing Anki a little after 1 a.m. last night, but truthfully, I just wasn't really mentally feeling it anymore. I was pretty tapped after a long day, so I made it through maybe like 30 cards and then fell asleep watching some Seinfeld. It's about 9:30 in the morning now, so I'm gonna get started with the day. I figure since I didn't finish my Anki, I'll bring you guys through another day. We've got 5 lectures and a casting clinic today, so I figured you might wanna see that. I just opened up Anki behind me here, and so I did a little over 1,000 cards yesterday, and today we have 1,275 review cards and 112 new cards. So basically like 1,400 total cards. I would love to get through all of those today, and that is the goal for now. I'm guessing that we're gonna start to die out around 1,000, but we're gonna push hard and try and get through all 1,400. So I'm gonna eat this oatmeal here and get started. It's about lunchtime. I haven't done any Anki yet. I had a bunch of the outside resources that I'm using to get a better understanding of the lectures we've had, particularly the neuroanatomy stuff. I've been working on all of that. I had a gross lab quiz that I had to take, so just a lot of kind of outside stuff that I've been doing, but now I just have the lectures for today and all of this Anki to do. So I'm gonna have lunch. Marin's on her way home right now, and then I'll probably end up going up to school and studying for about 4 hours before this casting clinic tonight. All right, we made our way to campus. I found a little study room that Jackson had left his stuff in. Got some gas station sushi, so I'm gonna eat this and watch the first couple medical physiology lectures on the electrocardiogram.
Something to her.
The casting clinic went well, came home, Marin's gonna make dinner, and I have 1 lecture left and then a bunch of Anki cards. As you guys saw, it was pretty late when I actually started getting through all of my Anki cards. Mav is going crazy here. But before bed, I did get my card count down to about 400, which is the lowest that it's been in like 2 weeks probably. So I was very content with that. I actually got up at about 6:30 this morning and have started again. I have no proof that I got down to 400 because they all repopulated and I'm doing them again today. But we got to a very good spot. We've got another 5 lectures again today, no labs or anything. So with this early start, I'm just hoping that I get done at a reasonable time this afternoon. I've been sitting here just doing Anki at the back of the couch. Here I set up my iPad on the back of the couch. I sit in this chair and then I have to charge my little remote here, but I just sit there and then I've been watching the US Olympic team in their first hockey match against China. So I've just been rifling through cards. I've done about 300 so far this morning and it's now 8:30. So I'm just gonna keep at it. This has been 2 productive days in med school and catching up on Anki. We'll catch you in the next one.